Movie starts, and some prisoners are being taken to an unknown place. The bus stops, and all the prisoners are given 5 minutes to relieve themselves. Then a guard goes and finds the last prisoner, our hero Kraven. The bus arrives at the prison. When 2 prisoners bully him while he is incarcerated, he handles them well after that, and when their boss wants to speak with him, Kraven is brought to his office, where he informs him that everyone wants a piece of him. But the boss wants to know who Kraven really is. Kraven tells him that he is a hunter, and he is here to hunt him, and takes a tooth from rug on the floor and takes out both the guards with the tooth, and then he proceeds to poking holes in the boss. After taking care of the boss, he proceeds to making his escape. He climbs onto a wall and breaks open a shaft and goes onto the roof, from where he jumps across as guards fire bullets at him, but he skillfully dodges the bullets and climbs onto the last wall. He goes across and keeps on running as guards chase after him. He runs straight into a snowstorm where he encounters a wolf, but the wolf doesn't attack when he sees his mutated lion eyes. Kraven makes his way to his plane and the plane flies him away. In northern Tanzania, a young Calypso is playing with tarot cards and talking with her grandmother. She takes out 3 cards and her grandmother tells her the outcome of all 3. She tells her about a tower moment that will happen and also gives her a secret potion imbued with powerful magic and tells her that she will need it when the time comes, as she comes from a very powerful line of sorcerers. On the other hand, Sergei and his half-brother Dmitri are in their school when their father comes to pick them up, and in the car, he informs them both that their mother committed suicide because she was weak, and now Nikolai plans to go on a hunt with both of his sons. They reach Tanzania to hunt down a legendary lion named Czar, who has killed over 3,000 hunters. While hunting for Czar, both the brothers get separated from their father, and that's when suddenly Czar appears in front of them. Sergei points his gun at Czar and tells Dmitri to get behind him, but he doesn't shoot, and Czar attacks him and starts to wound him badly. Nikolai shoots at Czar, injuring him, but Czar takes Sergei and drags him away, while Nikolai watches in disappointment. On the other hand, Calypso gets out of her parents' car and is walking when she sees Czar, and Czar looks at her and leaves. Calypso immediately gives her powerful potion to Sergei, calls for rescue, and leaves a tarot card in his hand. In the present day, Rhino is playing with his dog Raja, and Raja is not giving him the ball, but Rhino gets angry, and when he gets angry, Raja immediately gives him the ball in fear. When Rhino learns that his friend Chorny was killed in his prison cell by a hunter, first, he doesn't believe his guy, but when his guy tells him that the hunter has a list, and once you are on his list, you never come off, so he orders his guy to find the hunter and arrange a meeting with Chorny's top 3 guys to buy Chorny's business. On the other side, in the past, Sergei was dead in the hospital for 3 full minutes before the potion with powerful magic brings him back, and his eyes glow brown like that of a lion. In his room, he is looking at the card Calypso left in his pocket. His father and brother arrive to see him. His father says to him, "Why didn't you shoot the lion?" and then takes Sergei back home. Sergei's father invites him into a room where he shows Sergei the head of the legendary lion and informs him that he killed the lion for Sergei. But Sergei doesn't like what his father did and yells at him that the lion should have killed you and runs away. Sergei goes back to his room, packs his things, and in the night gets on his roof to escape from his house. Suddenly, he falls down, but survives the fall due to the powerful energy of potion. And when he is about to escape, his brother Dmitri tries to stop him, but he tells his brother that he will remain in contact and leaves. Sergei gets on a ship and reaches far eastern Russia and arrives on the land that is owned by his mother. Sergei immediately encounters a stampede of wild buffaloes. He is about to be crushed to death when a single buffalo stops and blocks other buffaloes from crushing Sergei to death under their feet. He reaches a glass dome and decides to stay there. In the next morning, he gets hungry and decides to hunt a deer. The deer runs very fast, but because of the superhuman abilities of Sergei, he is able to keep up, and they both leap across a ditch. Sergei is slowly learning his newfound abilities. He hears noises and climbs a tree. Sergei now has the ability to look very far and sees poachers hunting wild buffalo for their horns. Sergei races to the scene only to discover a lot of dead wild buffaloes, which angers him, and he takes care of the poachers in an instant. Now we come to the present time. Our young Sergei is all grown up and is now known by the name Kraven. He comes back to his mother's land and is fishing in a pond when he receives a call from his little brother Dmitri, who is inviting him for his birthday. Kraven says that he will come to his little brother's birthday and then goes to sleep. The next morning, more poachers arrive to hunt down wild buffaloes. As they are about to leave, they encounter Kraven standing at the gate. They tell Kraven to move aside, but Kraven doesn't move, and they try to run over Kraven with their truck and crush him. But Kraven climbs up the truck from the back and starts to fight the poachers. He takes care of the men in back and then moves to the front to fight the driver and one other man. Their boss is watching all this from his Jeep, and he orders his driver to drive as fast as he can. Kraven kills all the men in the truck and uses his super eyesight to watch the registration number of the Jeep in which the boss is escaping. Calypso still has her grandmother's deck of tarot cards, which she keeps wrapped in a cloth. Calypso attends the funeral of her friend, who was killed by Semyon Chorny, but Kraven the Hunter was able to track Calypso from only a card which she left in his pocket. He starts a conversation with Calypso and tells her that he already took care of Semyon Chorny in his prison cell and avenged her friend. Calypso goes home and confirms the death of Semyon Chorny, and then the next day, she comes back to talk with Kraven. Kraven informs her that he is the most complete hunter there is, and he is out to hunt bad guys like Semyon Chorny. So he gives a list to Calypso asking for her help to locate bad guys so that he can kill them. Calypso says that she will think about it. In the meantime, Kraven tracks the boss Andre Levine, who was killing buffaloes on Kraven's land, to his boss's office. And he is not happy about Andre killing buffaloes on his land. So he shoots and kills Andre with a crossbow, which slams Andre to the wall, and he hangs alongside his boss while Kraven leaves their office. Rhino sets up a meeting with Semyon Chorny's top 3 guys and informs them that he intends to take over Semyon Chorny's business. One of them will serve Rhino. Others will die. They laugh at him first. And one of them says to the others that he calls himself Rhino, while others laugh. And Rhino tells them, "Don't you guys want to know why I am called the Rhino?" And then he unplugs a pipe from the side and starts to transforms into something. But Chorny's men shoot Rhino, and he falls down, but to their surprise, gets up again and opens his shirt. Chorny's men are shocked to see that none of the bullets have pierced Rhino's skin, and Rhino just casually takes out the bullets one by one and then connects back the pipe, which is giving him medications to stop his transformation into a rhino. Snipers immediately kill the men behind, and 2 are left standing. Rhino asks again, "Which one of you is going to be my partner?" And one of Chorny's men shoot the other and becomes Rhino's partner. Dmitri is singing while playing a piano, and Dmitri's father, Nikolai Kravenov, arranges a meeting with Semyon Chorny's top guy, who just submitted to Rhino before coming to meet Nikolai. But Nikolai doesn't know this, and Nikolai offers to take over Semyon Chorny's business in return. He would give security, distribution, and peace of mind to Chorny's guy, and Chorny's guy immediately agrees to the offer, which seems odd to Nikolai. And Nikolai immediately tells him that you already made a deal, but with who? And he responds by saying, Rhino sends his regards, and a girl takes a gun out of her bag and starts shooting. But Nikolai immediately uses Chorny's guy as a shield and escapes death. A gunfight erupts, and Dmitri hides below the piano like a coward. Nikolai and his men fight and kill all the attackers. After the fight, Nikolai tells Dmitri to get up, and Dmitri is upset about his club being destroyed. But Nikolai grabs and pushes back his son, saying, I get attacked on my own ground, and who do I have to defend me, my son, a piano player, who hides below a piano like a coward? I need fighters, not cowards. You won't even defend yourself. On the other hand, Rhino gets the news that the Kravenov hit has failed, and all his men are dead. Rhino gets very angry, but then he says Nikolai is a tough old guy, and he won't go out quietly. Rhino's man gives him a thumb drive in which there is CCTV footage of Sergei Kravenov when he went to kill Semyon Chorny. Rhino finds out that Sergei is Kraven, the hunter, who has been killing everyone. Rhino orders his guy to put the foreigner on this case, as the foreigner is a hunter who is obsessed with killing Kraven. And then the scene shifts towards the prison in which Kraven killed Semyon Chorny. The foreigner is gathering clues there as he is spotted by a guard. The guard orders him to stay still, but he takes off his glasses so that he can use time-space ninjutsu. He stops the time and gets behind the guard, and when the guard looks back, he is shot and killed on the spot, and the foreigner goes back to his business. Kraven reaches his brother's apartment for his birthday, but he doesn't take the stairs like a normal person. Instead, he climbs the building from the outside to reach his apartment and goes in from the balcony to surprise his younger brother. Dmitri is taking a shower, so Sergei hides behind the door, and as soon as Dmitri comes out, he surprises his little brother, who has no clue that his elder brother has already arrived for his birthday. Both of them are happy to see each other, and they greet each other. Dmitri suggests a suit for Sergei, as both of them will be going out to have a good time. Both of them go to Dmitri's club and are enjoying a perfect conversation until their father Nikolai arrives. Sergei gets uncomfortable seeing his father after such a long time, as he has developed hatred inside his heart for his father. Nikolai arrives and says he only wants a drink with both his sons. The atmosphere gets tense as Dmitri pours both of them a drink. Both of them drink, but Sergei looks at his father with anger. Dmitri is drunk, so Sergei takes him back to his room, and he himself lays down on a sofa. But because of the noise of fans and other stuff, Sergei can't sleep. Because he is used to the calm and quiet of the jungle, he goes out and sleeps on the ground. Outside their building in the morning, he wakes up and goes back to the building. He asks a guy going in the elevator to hold it, but he doesn't. So Sergei throws his knife at the button to stop the elevator. The man apologizes in the elevator. As soon as Sergei enters Dmitri's apartment, he is shocked to see that the whole apartment is in ruins. He quickly checks for Dmitri, but Dmitri is nowhere to be found. He quickly watches over the balcony to find Dmitri being abducted by some guys. Kraven quickly jumps down the building and runs over to the location, but the van is far away. He runs after the van with the help of his mutated abilities. He runs across blocks and climbs the stairs of a building with lightning speed, but never gives up and keeps on following the van to save his baby brother. People are watching as Kraven is sprinting across the building floor. He runs fast and breaks through a glass to land on the road. Kraven runs with full force and hits the van in the back, and the van loses control. But because of Kraven's fear, the driver drives the van in reverse. Kraven quickly catches up to the van and climbs on. Kraven starts to brake the van with his bare hands. The van driver tries to get Kraven off the van, but to no avail. Kraven continuously tries to brake the van, but the van is bulletproof, and Kraven can't break open the door. But Kraven wasn't able to do anything because another car bumps into Kraven, and Kraven is thrown off the van. The Turkish guys escape with Dmitri. At a far-off location, the Turkish guys take Dmitri to a helicopter. As they are about to fly off, Kraven reaches there. Kraven is not going to let his brother go, so he takes a net and throws it at the helicopter. The net gets stuck in the helicopter, and Kraven stops the helicopter from flying away with his brute strength. Like Captain America, he holds on as long as he can, but then the men in the helicopter start shooting at Kraven, so Kraven has to run and take cover. Kraven kills one man in the helicopter by throwing an iron pipe at him, then jumps and hangs onto the net as the helicopter flies away. The helicopter pilot tries to shake Kraven off by dragging him in the water, but Kraven doesn't let go, so the helicopter pilot drives Kraven to a water boy. Kraven gets hit by the water boy and lets go. And finally, the helicopter flies away with Kraven's brother, and Kraven is left there in the water. The Turkish gang, after taking Dmitri to a secure location, cut off one of his fingers and gave him medicine, but Dmitri refused to take any medicine. The Turkish guy does not take kindly to this gesture and punches Dmitri. After getting punched, Dmitri immediately takes the medicine. Kraven arrives at his father Nikolai's house and asks him who were the people that kidnapped Dmitri, but Nikolai says, "I do not know. My list of enemies is long." And after that, Nikolai gives Kraven the finger of his younger brother Dmitri, which was sent as a gift from the Turkish guys. After watching the finger, Kraven asks how much money they asked for, and Nikolai says $20 million in 48 hours. Kraven says, pay them because Dmitri is Nikolai's son, but Nikolai says even if I pay, they are still going to kill him regardless because this is about power. If I pay, I will look weak, and if I look weak, I will start to lose everything that I have spent a lifetime building. Kraven says you're despicable and leaves. Kraven goes to Calypso's law firm and tells her about the abduction of Dmitri. Kraven also tells Calypso that the abductors look Turkish. Calypso says that she will use her contacts to find the guy who took Dmitri, and then Kraven will have to do what he does best, and that is to hunt. Calypso calls her contact and orders him to find a Turkish guy with a scar under his cheek. Calypso goes and meets her informant, who gives her the information about the abductors of Dimitri. After giving the information, when the informant goes back up the stairs, the foreigner is there, and he kills the informant and also informs Rhino that Calypso took the bait. Rhino calls the Turkish guys and orders them to get ready to kill Kraven. On the other side, Kraven catches the plane to go to northern Turkey, where the abductors have kept Dimitri. There, he climbs the walls of a castle which is located on a mountain and sneaks inside. He kills a guard and moves further up in the castle, where he takes care of another guard. 2 guards are going down the stairs, and Kraven moves like a hunter behind them. His presence is never known to these guards, and he climbs another level without being detected. The last guard he kills makes noise, and the Turks get alerted that Kraven has already arrived to kill them. They move in to kill Kraven, but Kraven moves with lightning speed and starts to kill them one by one. But unbeknownst to Kraven, there is a guy with a bazooka on the mountain in front of the castle. Kraven takes the leader of the Turks through the window, but the leader says, "We are already dead," and the guy on the mountain shoots his bazooka. Kraven jumps down the castle and avoids getting hit by the projectile. Kraven survives the fall, but the leader is in pretty bad shape. Kraven tries to get information about his brother, but a massive landslide comes and covers them both, completely killing the leader. Dimitri is brought to Rhino before Kraven can reach the castle. Rhino apologizes for Dimitri's finger, and they both go for a walk. Rhino says to Dimitri that he met Dimitri when he was little on a hunting trip with his father, but Dimitri says he does not remember. Dimitri asks Rhino if his father Nikolai agrees to pay, and Rhino replies that Nikolai was never going to pay for his illegitimate son. Rhino says, "You came into this world as an accident, and you came into my possession as an accident." The men that Rhino sent were never there for Dimitri. They were sent to capture Sergei, and then Rhino shows Dimitri the CCTV footage of Sergei fighting in the prison, and also informs Dimitri that your brother now calls himself Kraven. Rhino also says Kraven has a list, and once you're on that list, you never come off. That's why he went for Kraven first. The foreigner goes to the Turkish castle to gather clues, and he finds the poison darts used by Kraven, which have a poison from the plant of rosary pea. Some guards arrive there and spot the foreigner. The foreigner takes off his glasses and again uses his time-space ninjutsu and kills both guards and goes away. Rhino's team is searching in the rubble to find the dead bodies of Kraven and the Turk leader, when, all of a sudden, Kraven appears behind them and takes care of them both. After that, Kraven immediately calls Calypso and warns her that Rhino will target her also. But it is too late. Rhino's men are already in Calypso's building. Kraven tells Calypso to make a run for it. Calypso opens a drawer in her office, takes something in a bag, and leaves while Rhino's men search for her. Calypso arrives in a plane to Kraven's land, where Kraven receives her. They are both walking to Kraven's house when Kraven stops and says they are being hunted. All of a sudden, a mountain lion leaps from the bushes and attacks Kraven, and an amazing fight starts between Kraven and the mountain lion. Kraven fights the mountain lion and defeats her, telling her that he is the only king on this land. The mountain lion runs away, and Kraven comes back to Calypso and tells her he has been taking care of that mountain lion ever since she was a baby. Calypso is drinking coffee in Kraven's house. She finds a hidden switch, and when she flicks the switch, hidden compartments open all over the place, which contain a huge amount of weapons. Calypso picks up a bow and starts to practice, but Kraven arrives and says, "You will hurt yourself." Calypso assures him that she is very good with a bow. Then Kraven asks her what was in the bottle, which she gave him the day the legendary lion attacked. She said she didn't know what was in the bottle. It was her grandmother's potion, and the recipe for the potion died with her grandmother. Rhino is talking with Dimitri. He takes a bag out of a refrigerator and tells Dimitri that this is his feed bag. It is a mixture of medications to manage his condition. He was very weak before, and doctors could not figure out what was wrong with him. But Rhino got lucky and found Dr. Miles Warren, who was a biochemist and was developing a procedure to increase human strength tenfold. That's why Rhino signed up immediately. And then he unplugged his medicine bag and started to transform. His skin becomes indestructible like a rhino's. He punches the table and destroys it, but he feels immense pain in this transformed state. That's why he plugs back his medicine and goes back to normal. And then he asks Dimitri that he will be taking over Nikolai's territory and he wants Dmitri to be his partner. But Dmitri declines by saying that he will never betray his family. Then Rhino takes a gun and puts it in Dmitri's head. But his man arrives at that time and tells Rhino that his men were unable to kill Kraven and that there is also an intruder in the building. They all think that Kraven has arrived to kill them, so they all take positions in front of the elevator. But when the elevator opens up, the foreigner is inside, and he immediately removes his glasses and uses his time-space ninjutsu to go to the back and start eating from Dmitri's plate. Rhino looks back and says, "If I remove your eyeballs, will your technique still work?" And the foreigner laughs. And when Rhino and foreigner are both sitting, Rhino asks the foreigner, "Why are you so obsessed with killing Kraven? I only gave you this assignment as a job, but you are taking it way too seriously." Then the foreigner replies that his mentor, who taught the foreigner all about killing, was killed by Kraven. That's why he seeks revenge for his teacher. The foreigner tells Rhino that Kraven is nature's perfect predator. He has no known weakness, but Rhino managed to find one, which is his little brother, and the foreigner says that he knows how to exploit this weakness. He shows Rhino the plant of rosemary pea, whose poison he found on the darts used by Kraven. This plant only grows in a specific part of Russia, and that is where Kraven is hiding. Rhino takes his private army and his helicopters and goes to attack Kraven. The foreigner is also accompanying Rhino. The foreigner has a dart gun in which he is loading poison darts. When Rhino asks about the poison, the foreigner replies by saying it is a very special type of poison developed by MI6. The poison first brings out a man's darkest nightmares, and then paralysis of the vital organs kicks in, which results in death. Rhino says that he likes the foreigner's style of killing. Rhino, the foreigner, and their small army reach Kraven's mother's land, where they get out and take positions. Rhino makes Dmitri call Kraven, and Kraven picks up the call, believing it's his baby brother. Rhino tells Kraven that he wants to live his life without any threat. That's why he is willing to make Kraven and his brother Dmitri his partners because of their mutual hatred for Nikolai, their father. But Kraven disconnects the call. Kraven senses danger, so he flips the switch and starts to arm himself from the load of weapons he kept hidden in different compartments in his house. Rhino takes out his dog, Raja, and the dog starts to bark at something. At that moment, a mountain lion attacks Rhino's men and they start shooting. While Dmitri sees the opportunity and runs away, Kraven is hiding in the woods, and Rhino's men are searching for him. Kraven skillfully kills 2 men and then takes care of 2 more by jumping down a tree. While others get alerted, one of the men is walking down a path where he triggers a booby trap and is killed instantly by a huge log with spikes. Another man gets his foot trapped and is dragged to another trap and killed on the spot. Rhino is watching all this with his assistant, and he orders his helicopter to bombard the area. The helicopter starts throwing bombs, and Kraven runs for his life. After Kraven has escaped from the bombs, he is shot with a poison dart by the foreigner. Calypso is watching all this from Kraven's hideout. The poison starts to do its thing, and Kraven starts to see spiders coming down on him from all sides. He also has visions of his mother calling his name. Kraven is able to take the dart out, but it's already too late, and the poison has done its job. The foreigner also arrives. Kraven becomes furious by seeing the foreigner and attacks immediately, but the foreigner dodges and shoots Kraven again with another poison dart and gives a speech about how the poison will kill Kraven. Kraven is slowed down by the poison, and the foreigner starts to beat Kraven. The foreigner uses his time-space ninjutsu to attack Kraven multiple times, and Kraven is unable to fight back because the poison is starting to reach his vital organs. The foreigner attacks Kraven when all of a sudden Kraven takes him down and starts to punch him, but to no avail, as the foreigner is standing behind Kraven, and Kraven is only punching the ground. The foreigner hits Kraven and he falls. The foreigner takes his gun and is about to end Kraven when his men arrive, and the overconfident foreigner sends them away saying he will take care of Kraven himself. The foreigner is about to shoot when Calypso punctures his eye with her arrow, and the foreigner dies a miserable death. The foreigner's men are already moving away from the location, thinking the foreigner has taken care of Kraven, but Calypso opens up Kraven's jacket and sees that he has been poisoned badly, so she takes out another vial of her grandmother's secret potion and gives it to Kraven. The potion starts to do its thing, and Kraven is healed immediately. He regains his consciousness, and tells Calypso, "I knew you had more of that." She replied by saying that I was not going to give the family secret to a lunatic again. Rhino's assistant reaches Rhino and gives him the good news that Kraven has been killed, and Rhino is overjoyed with happiness. Rhino takes his caravan and starts to leave Kraven's land. When he sees dust far away, it is a huge stampede of buffaloes quickly moving in their direction. Rhino takes out the pipe, feeding him medication so that he can transform into his ultimate form. The buffalo charge in and start to hit the cars in Rhino's caravan. The cars are getting flipped and destroyed amidst all this. Kraven arrives and starts to move towards the car, taking his baby brother Dimitri. Rhino rips off his shirt and climbs the roof of his car to take on Kraven. Kraven and Rhino both watch each other for the final showdown, and they both collide in midair. But Rhino takes Kraven down as Rhino is stronger. But Kraven is not going to give up and kicks Rhino off the truck. Rhino takes a position to flip the whole truck. Rhino collides with the truck, picks it up, and flips it over. Kraven jumps away from the truck and narrowly escapes. The buffalo stampede now circles the truck. Rhino picks up the truck and throws it at Kraven, but Kraven dodges the truck by sliding under it and takes out his knife and starts to attack Rhino, but to no avail, as Rhino's skin is rock hard and his knife can't pierce it. Rhino throws Kraven away, but Kraven does not give up easily and continues to attack Rhino multiple times. But Rhino is stronger and keeps on beating Kraven and renders Kraven's attack useless. Rhino elbows Kraven to the truck and runs and hits the truck, sending it flying far away along with Kraven. Kraven, in desperation, jumps over the truck to attack Rhino one last time, but Rhino catches Kraven in midair and starts to choke Kraven with one hand. In the last moments, Kraven sees Rhino's only weakness and hits his dagger on the side of Rhino, which had the pipe that was feeding him medication. Rhino screams with pain. Rhino slams Kraven to the truck, but it's too late. Rhino is badly injured, and Kraven utilizes this opportunity to take a steel wire from the truck, wrap it around Rhino, and throw the hook at the stampede of buffaloes. The hook gets stuck to the horns of a buffalo, and Rhino gets dragged into the stampede, getting hit by multiple buffaloes. Kraven takes a pipe from the truck to finish the job, but Rhino is already done. Dimitri takes a gun to shoot Rhino, but Kraven stops him by saying, "You don't need to get your hands dirty." Rhino's transformation starts to end, but before dying, he tells Kraven that your father, Nikolai, is the mastermind behind all this. After 1 year, Kraven goes to meet his baby brother Dimitri in his club, where Dimitri is singing and mimicking a famous singer. Kraven sits and enjoys the evening. Kraven wishes his brother a happy birthday while they both drink and enjoy the evening. Dimitri tells his elder brother that he found a doctor in New York who helped him and changed him. Kraven doesn't know, but this is the same doctor Rhino used to get his superhuman transformation. At that time, two men arrive and give Dimitri something. Kraven finds this odd and says, "Why didn't you sell all our father's assets and leave the business?" Dimitri replies that he changed his mind, and now he owns their father's empire of crime. Dimitri accuses Kraven that he is exactly like their father, and he too is a bad person. And then Dimitri walks off. Kraven goes after Dimitri, and when he turns him toward himself, Kraven is shocked to see that Dimitri has the same face as Kraven. Dimitri tells him, "You should see the look on your face," and then walks away. Dimitri changes into some kind of creature and then changes back to his face. Kraven follows him again, and Dimitri says, "You have always known me. I have always been a chameleon." He tells Kraven that now Rhino is gone, and their father is gone, and the whole empire is left there for his taking, and he will take it. He tells Kraven to go home and leaves after that. In northern Russia, Nikolai Kravenov is fast asleep in his tent, but wakes up sensing the presence of someone outside his tent. He comes out to see his son Sergei sitting outside. Sergei immediately confronts his father, telling him it was his father who sent Rhino after him. Nikolai responds by saying, "A father can always recognize the actions of his son." Sergei says, "You were weak. That's why you could not fight Rhino. That's why you sent him after me." Nikolai says, "I am weak, but my son Kraven is strong." Kraven says to you, "It doesn't matter that your little son Dimitri could have died." Nikolai responds by saying that Dimitri is a small price to secure his kingdom. Sergei starts to leave. and Nikolai tries to stop him. But Sergei says that he could have come for Nikolai years ago, but he didn't because Nikolai was his father. But Sergei leaves, saying, "Never fear death. Isn't that what you taught me?" At that moment, Nikolai hears a wild animal coming in his direction. He immediately picks up his gun and opens it up to see that it has no bullets. At that same moment, Kraven is seen throwing bullets on the ground, which he took out of his father's gun. But it's too late. A huge bear comes out of the bushes, charging at Nikolai, and starts to devour him while Kraven walks away and lets his father die. In the ending scenes of the movie, Kraven walks into their father's house and finds a letter on a wooden box. And inside the wooden box is a jacket made from the fur of the legendary lion, which gave Kraven his superhuman abilities. Kraven wears that leather jacket and sits down on a chair like a king and starts to think about his next opponent. Here, the movie ends. Friends, if you like this movie, please like, subscribe, and share. For more movies, please comment about the movies you want, and we will review the movie for you. Thanks.